Hey everybody, welcome to So with Joe. Today we're going to be replacing a belt loop that's worn out, and we're going to be talking about saving food from going to waste, providing jobs for people who would otherwise not have them, and doing it all with zero energy input. So let's get into it. First things we got to do is take out the old loop. And for that, we're going to break out my Pro Seam Ripper kit, which I introduced to you in a previous episode. Now, there's two different ones in here, one that has a point and one that is rounded off, and I think for this one we're going to have to use the one with the point, just to be able to get in and behind our stitches. Oh man, this is so nice and sharp. Oh, it's just, oh, it just pulls right through this like nothing. Wow. Yeah, I'm impressed with this. I think the main drawback, the main thing holding me back here is my eyes. If I could see exactly, there we go, exactly where the stitches are, then I could do a little bit better, faster job of that. But now that I've got it started, I can go in and just cut the last one, and then away we go. Sweet. Okay, so we got that piece off. One thing I always find interesting when I'm working on these is anytime that there's material underneath other material, it's like way closer to the original color. Same thing with the belt loops. It's the only place where you'll actually have material that's not sun faded. So you can tell that these were real, not just made by some company. Well, they were a long time ago, but I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. I messed that up a little bit. Actually cut into my pocket. There we go. There's the old worn out belt loop, one of the few pieces that'll actually take off of my jeans. Then we have to find another one. Cheers. In the meantime, I'm going to tell you a little story that's happening over in India. Well, I try and find a belt loop from my pile of pockets and zippers that I'm sure everybody has laying around. I had found one earlier, but in India what they were doing is keeping food from going to waste. And I think that's one of the most important things, because there's so much food that this planet can grow, but if it can't be consumed or preserved, then there's not much point to it. So what companies in India are doing, there it is. There's our belt loop of choice right there, little camouflage one. I knew I'd found one here somewhere. And let's rip it out. So in India, any produce that can't be sold because there's too much, or I shouldn't say any, but some produce that can't be sold because there's too much, and you know, no refrigeration and no way of preserving it really. That food is now, instead of going to waste, the food is brought to a few local women who have been supplied with solar food dehydrators. That's the key to the whole thing, is these women are supplied with solar food dehydrators that can dry out food in apparently around 4 hours. You can get everything dehydrated to the humidity percentage, content, whatever, however you'd say it, that is needed to package it and transport it and preserve it. So the company is called Science for Society. And not only do the dehydrators and this process, not only do they save food from going to waste, they also provide employment for women who would otherwise not have any even real chance at employment, because there's just no industry, there's just farming. So these women are making the equivalent of $80 a month. And I know to a lot of people that won't sound like much, but when you have nothing, $80 a month is pretty massive. You know, the equivalent here, like, it's like 80, I think they said 80 US dollars. So like 5,000 Canadian. And, you know, that's a pretty significant chunk of change. For, like I say, for people who have nothing. And the one thing I saw a video and they interviewed one lady, and she said that the extra money that they have allows them to send their kids to a better school. And education is important, no matter what the Canadian education system tells you these days. Education is important. Oh, there we have our donor belt loop. You can put the seam ripper away. So you're wondering, what do they do with this food? Well, the food is brought into them, they sort it, they cut it, they dry it, they package it, and then it's sent out to restaurants or stores where it's used. So that's really cool. What I'll usually do with belt loops is I'll sew them on the bottom first, because then I can sew in this extra tag, get a few more stitches in there, a few extras. And one thing I probably should have done earlier was made sure that I knew where my needle was. Okay, so I found my needle, and it is still in my blanket project, so we're going to do a little bit of sewing on my blanket project, and then get back to get back to the belt loop, because I don't want to waste the thread that's on here. So we're going to do a little bit here, and then get right back to our other project. It might actually be next episode. We'll get back to our belt loop. We did the seam ripping today, and we'll get back to doing the rest of it next episode. Oh, that's too funny. I forgot that I had it in here. So now some interesting numbers to go along with this story, because it's actually pretty significant. And the total program put on by Science for Society each year is set up to process 40,000 tons of food. 40,000 tons of food that would otherwise have gone to waste. That's amazing. In places where they don't have much, that's the difference between life and death. So massive, massive good news coming out of India, improving the lives of citizens. I think one of the biggest positive things out of this is just improving the lives of the local people and providing employment. Some parts of the world, that's the best you can hope for, is just to have anything, you know. If you're fortunate enough to have any sort of job, any sort of income, you can actually do something, you know, help your family get ahead. You know, people literally live in little tin shacks and have nothing. Pretty wild to think about when you're used to having so much, you know. Well, now we have, oops, now we have a needle, and we have a belt loop. So next episode we can, sorry about that, I thought I had muted my phone. Next episode we can get back on that belt loop. Just going to pull some pins on this project here. And then I'm just going to say thanks very much for joining me. Always good to spend some time and spread some good news. And yeah, next time we'll get back to the belt loop. This time got a little distracted by getting our materials together. Alright. Well, thanks a lot for joining me. Cheers. Really do value the time we get to spend together. And until next time, keep chillin'. Don't forget your cookie. Peace.